Wizard of Oz Land at Movie World isn't very good. Sure, it has some good parts, but as a whole, it's a very subpar experience, with it completely under-delivering on Movie World's promise that it would be a world-class land, worthy of the classic movie it was based on. It's been a few months now since the land opened, and for the most part, no improvements have been made, with the land only getting worse. In this video, I'm going to talk about what went wrong with the land, and what can be done to fix it. First, what went right? Well, the entrance to the land is quite good, being home to some well-designed and detailed models of the Oz gang, which provide an awesome photo op. The yellow brick road looks really good at first glance, and really draws you into the land. The Emerald Palace facade looks fantastic, and really stands out due to its large, imposing size. The greenery around the castle is also really good. Look at all these little planties! Entering the palace, you find yourselves in the Wizard of Oz's chamber, where a 3D projection of the wizard's weird, alien-like green head talks. It's very well animated, and the effect really works. This room acts as the entrance to both of the land's coasters. Flight of the Wicked Witch, a Vekoma suspended family coaster, and Kansas Twister, a Vekoma dueling boomerang. The rides themselves are really fun, providing smooth, upper-level family thrills, acting as great stepping stones for the guests still working towards the park's more thrilling rides. Both rides also start out with some really well-themed, detailed, and immersive cues. If you're lucky, you may also see various Wizard of Oz characters in the land, who do a great job, and it often feels like the characters just jumped out of the movie. Now, what's bad? Well, you better sit down and get comfy. Are you ready? Let's get to it. Firstly, back to the entrance. Why is it here next to Superman Escape? It's really immersion breaking, with a large, loud roller coaster travelling over the yellow brick road. I don't remember that in the movie. The yellow brick road is also surrounded by white show buildings, which also take you out of the experience. The yellow brick road has a constant looping of Somewhere Over the Rainbow playing non-stop. Yeah, it's a legendary song and all, but still, hearing it literally non-stop can get old quite fast. The main courtyard area of the land is bare and barren. There's little to no theming, just these plain green walls, and if you look up you see a lot of white walls. There's no benches, there's no seating in the land, and there's little to no shade. Paint is peeling off the walls, paint is peeling in the fountain. I said peeling, and there's no food and there's no drink. The Wizard of Oz screen in the chamber only runs one cycle, and it repeats itself every minute or so, which must drive the staff there insane. While the start of the ride's indoor queues are solid, they quickly turn into generic, outdoor, amusement park queues, with little to no theming and no shade, which in the Queensland sun can quickly lead to disaster. The stations for the coasters are lacking theming and are extremely plain, which is a far cry from the initial concept art and the implication that it would have Leviathan-style theming standards. The rides, Flight of the Wicked Witch in particular, have terrible, awful operations, which means you may be standing in line significantly longer than you need to at another park. Kansas Twister, being a dueling coaster, often only runs one train, which is crazy for a dueling coaster. When you walk around the back of the land, you get surrounded by prison-like fencing, drainage, and views of the rest of the park due to a lack of sightlines. There's no life in the land, nothing to do, no photo ops, no figures of the Oz gang. There's no merchandise in the land itself, there's no food, there's no drink, it's just a big green area with one cool Emerald Palace facade. The toilets in the land are plain and unthemed, the second exit to the land is extremely ugly and plain looking. It's literally nothing but green paint. And there's no motor coaster. Phew, that was a lot. As you can see, Movie World kind of dropped the ball here, opening an extremely subpar experience, and one most agree is worse than the fantastic Rivertown down the road at Dreamworld. I originally thought we would see this land draw in international Wizard of Oz fans, but now, I don't think so. If anything, it's keeping them away. But this is meant to be a positive video. So, what can be done to fix, or at least improve, the land? I understand budgetary restraints and all that, so I'll try to be realistic in my recommendations here. But let's send it and get into it. Firstly, and most important of all, add the basic necessities to the land. Add some benches, add some more shade, maybe a new drinking fountain, more bins. And these issues were a major cause of guest dissatisfaction when the land opened. I remember there were lots of reports of people literally fainting from heatstroke in the queues, and the fact that Movie World hasn't done anything to address this yet is insanity. Next, let's talk about the entrance to the land. There's not much I could see them doing here, as you can't exactly relocate Superman Escape, and the entrance for the most part is pretty good. But there's a few little things you can do. On the route leading to the Superman Plaza, for example, I'd put down a themed signpost that says Wizard of Oz Land this way, as currently there's nothing that draws you to the land from Movie World's entrance area. Music-wise, I'd change the Somewhere Over the Rainbow cover loop to a selection of, instrumental Wizard of Oz music, maybe on a 30-minute loop. This should improve the incredibly repetitive audio situation at the land's entrance, and will help to make it more immersive. Just look at Disney. Really works here. This is something done really well at Rivertown in Dreamworld. I'd also add a bit more theming to cover up the white buildings on each side of the yellow brick road. At least add some planting, greenery, that type of stuff to camouflage it. Next, the Emerald City Plaza. First, let's address the horrible plain walls. Let's get some theming up there. Picoplay, who actually designed a lot of the land, can do an amazing job if you actually give them a budget. Just look at Jungle Rush. I could easily see a bunch of those prefabricated themed square walls get installed here. Similar to what was used on the Jungle Rush temple. This is meant to be the Emerald City, let's make it look like it. I'd also add some figures of the Oz Gang here, like what was seen in the concept art. Similar to what was done in DC Villains before it got ruined. These would be fantastic photo ops, and would really help bring the currently dead-feeling courtyard to life. Maybe add a couple of screens. You could have the Oz Gang on there, or citizens of the Emerald City, or the Munchkins, or Glinda, or the Wicked Witch. There's so many options. I'd also do something like this in the Munchkinland corner, which is currently just a bunch of cheap-looking, very plain facades. I'd add some more theming here, and some interactivity. For example, you could have an audio clip play if you knock one of the doors, similar to what happens in other parks.
Oh, Bernice!
The characters do a great job of making the area feel more lively when they're there, but more is needed. Having a themed food stand would really help. Maybe you could get some themed snacks, like a Munchkin lollipop. What about a little merch stand, where you could buy those headbands they sell in the stores? You'd definitely sell a ton more from impulse buys alone, especially if the stand is close to an Instagrammable spot. People love to show off, not judging. And yes, add some more theming to the extremely plain green back exit. This was originally the intended entrance to the area back when it was Lethal Weapon. It used to be a really well-themed Chinatown alley. It wasn't made to be a green paint walkway, If possible, I'd really look into making this another proper entrance to the land. The reveal of the Emerald Palace is significantly better and much more impactful from this side, much more so than the current entrance's angle. Next, the Wizard of Oz's chamber. There's not a ton to change in here, as the chamber is already pretty good. Again though, I'd add some seating. Guests use the room a lot during the warmer months to stay cool due to the air conditioning. And with no seating, they all resorted to just sitting on the ground like hobos. It wasn't a good look, and not exactly the best first impression for guests walking into the chamber for the first time. The Wizard of Oz scene loop is also way too repetitive and short. Surely it's not too difficult to add a couple more scenes of the wizard to liven it up. Maybe add something with the witch. There's a lot you could do. Next, the ride queues. There's not much you can really do to improve the indoor-themed queues, as they're already really good. But the outside ones, they really need more shade, and they could really use some more immersion and theming. The Wicked Witch one already has the great beginnings of a shaded structure. Why did they stop it? Finish the structure, and put in a couple ceiling fans to help keep guests cool. Add some themed fencing so it doesn't look like you're in jail. Add some more theming into the stations, as they feel really bare right now. Even some more audio would help. For example, Instead of the poor ride attendants having to yell the safety info audibly themselves, have a themed recording of it play. When I was at Tokyo Disneyland last year, for example, in the Snow White queue it had Grumpy, and Grumpy was actually doing the audio safety spiel, and it really worked quite well.
Stay in your seat, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs.
A lot of Disney rides do that, and I think it would work perfectly for the Wizard of Oz land. You know, like could have the Cowardly Lion go, "Uh-oh, you're about to go for a ride with the flying monkeys. You're certainly braver than me. For safety, remove all hats, glasses, GoPros, and other loose items, and place them in the storage compartments to the right of the train. When you sit on your seat, pull down the lap bar, but leave the seatbelt for one of the witch's attendants to do for you." Something like that. Please excuse my impression. And when the train gets sent, there should be an audio clip of the Wicked Witch going, "Fly, my pretties, fly!" with her theme playing, and the sound effects of the monkeys. Seriously, why don't they do that? And for Kansas Twister, have the playing with audio of Dorothy going, "Auntie Em, it's a twister, it's a twister." And please improve the ride operations. It shouldn't take between 7 to 10 minutes to send a train. You know, it should be around 3 minutes max. How it's currently done is nuts. Now, what else is there? Oh yes, definitely the toilets here. It's weird, but if you need to use the loo in Oz, you'd expect it to be, themed? Similar to the awesome Harry Potter toilets in the Wizarding World at Universal. But no, you just get a generic, plain, conference building style toilet. Joy. Well, that's all I could think of from the top of my head to help improve the Wizard of Oz land. Some fixes are so incredibly easy it surprises me, it hasn't happened yet, while some are understandably hard and would require more investment. But I think for the park's image and future and improving guest satisfaction, I think changes like this is the absolute correct step to take. What do you think needs to be done to the Wizard of Oz land? Do you agree with me? What would you change? Let me know in the comments below. I really do love reading your comments, and I always make sure to read them all. I really hope you enjoyed this little video, and I really hope some of the feedback gets to the park, and that it gets heard by the right people. Well, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. This was my second ever Ogre-Talkies video, so what do you think? Would you like to see more? Let me know in the comments below. Please give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and please consider subscribing to the channel for more fun videos just like this. It's free, and I'd love to have you here. I'd like to give a huge thank you to my YouTube members, the Ogre Bros and the Ogre Sisters. A big thank you to Straws, Cooper Down Under, SW Stevie 1, Artie Husky, Matt Jonas, Anti-Furry, TV, Risus is a Bomb, Dr. I Stan, Randall. Movies Like Everyone Celebrate Dennis Knoll 30th, I Liam's Law, Jack W, Pringle on Top, Jam Kite, Kerry Jeckeln, Koala 75, and Mr. Yum Yum. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Ogre and out.